This is AEDT 1160 Assignment 2 Mary's Problem by Kaylee Curtis and John Philpott. As we looked at the overview of Mary's problem, we broke it down to a few key areas where Mary could turn to for improvements and to help her staff move in the positive direction of incorporating blended learning into everyday teachings. So there's a growing demand at Mary's Language School for online learning courses. Some of the newer teachers are very open to teaching online, while there's a lot of very experienced teachers at her school that are a little more resistant to the online learning classroom. Mary herself is comfortable teaching technology, but not so much for teaching classes on technology or making institute-wide decisions. So Mary is going to turn to Pierre and Joe, who are two of her tech-savvy staff members, to help implement a pilot program that appeals to all levels of technical abilities for staff members of all capabilities. As Mary focuses on moving forward, her goal is to motivate her team to build a collaborative blended learning environment. Her ideas involve building on strengths of all staff members, so using the technical abilities of her most tech-savvy staff to implement and teach the other staff members and model how it may look. Using Microsoft Teams as an everyday teaching tool and communication tool for staff would be an opportune time for staff members to model and also research on their own through tutorials how to implement a blended learning environment. Microsoft Teams was chosen because it was an easy to navigate learning management system. Teams uses similar tools that both new and experienced teachers are used to, from using Windows, Office, and Skype. There are many apps, such as Ymmer and Flipgrid, that members can use for asynchronous discussions with students, providing a controlled social media environment. Teams allows for all aspects of class to exist in one place. Synchronous discussions can happen through chat and video conference and in breakout rooms. And there is opportunities for asynchronous learning through document sharing and assignment management. Through Microsoft Teams, there is Microsoft Stream, which can be utilized for some of the less tech-savvy staff to work with in creating course content, such as videos or recording lectures.
By utilizing Teams, we'll be able to set up each class to exist in its own team site. From there, Mary will be able to have access to multiple classes since she's the administrator. And as shown here, we will also be able to get information on analytics and reports so she can track usage by students and teachers. Individual teachers will be able to manage their own classes. We'll also be able to set up a private channel that can be used for teachers to share information for each other. A focus with learning with Teams is to have access for students to learn both synchronously and asynchronously. For synchronous learning, we'll largely utilize the video conferencing feature for online classrooms. It includes a lot of features that you'd be familiar with in other tools, first and foremost being chat. The chat's available both during class and after class for more informal live discussions. Beyond chat, there's a few different features to help focus during the meeting. There's Spotlight, which brings the ability to have either the teacher or another student given full screen focus. There's screen sharing, whiteboarding, breakout rooms, all tools that are necessary for different classwork. There's an option for students to raise their hand to get attention. And there's also the Together mode, which we're showing in the image here. And that provides a way for students to see each other in a more natural view. And if you're in the top left on my screen, you're in the top left for everyone's screen, which also makes it easier for your brain to comprehend people's location and has less distraction around background images that students would normally have. As mentioned previously, the chat feature is very useful for asynchronous learning. And it can be used both during classroom, but also after class discussions. And those chats will exist in real time within the Teams site. Teachers also have the ability, as well as other students, to have private or small group messages, similar to what a lot of students would use with a tool like WhatsApp. And again, being able to keep it all within the Teams ecosystem. These features are essential to building a collaborative learning environment for students. There are many features in Teams that support asynchronous learning. Teachers can create, track, and grade assignments for their students. There's Microsoft Stream, which is a built-in tool for Teams that would be great for teachers that have limited experience teaching online or are just not comfortable with the technology, as this would allow them to work with Pierre and Joe to create video content that then could be utilized as asynchronous assignment tools. Yammer is a forum-style discussion similar to how Twitter looks, but it's built into the Teams system. Again, allowing for a different way that students can communicate while keeping it within the Teams ecosystem and not outside social media. Students here can play an active and constructive role in the discussion process, reflecting a social constructivist approach to education. There can be more meaningful discussions here, referencing learnings, building off each other. So it's a useful tool. And as many have utilized in these courses before, Flipgrid can also be used to provide a asynchronous video communication style as opposed to text. Let's take a quick look at Yammer. As you can see here, it's very much a social media environment. You can take pictures, you can put it in text, people can respond to your requests. You can also highlight who you want to give attention to, like your teacher, like an @ mention. Other students can add comments. The comments can be simple text, but you also have, the ability to add links and formatting or to attach some kind of a document. This is useful when you're giving more detailed explanations or postings. You can also have fun with it, and you can add items like GIFs. Teachers can create announcements to help highlight areas of importance. And teachers can also look at the responses and get more details just by hovering over the picture to see what student is responding. Has their contact information for a classroom? This would have class information. Students can do search to find specific information. There's information at the top that tells them like if a post is liked or not. They can post up questions that others can answer. So there's a lot of features here. It's important here to provide both synchronous and asynchronous ways of communicating. Students have access to many options in Teams, including the video discussions, the chats, the Flipgrid recorded videos, and the Yammer. Oztalk found, interestingly, that when synchronous messages and asynchronous notes are available, students use both, and they provide a complementary and overlapping role in the evolving discourse. We created a number of infographics to help teachers learn how to use Teams. This one shows them how to utilize the together mode or spotlighting when they're in synchronous learning classes. The second shows teachers and can show students how to utilize the raise hand feature, as well as to see which students are asking questions, in which order they're asked. And finally, we created one that details how to create, edit, and upload for content a video created in Microsoft Stream. You can also access these infographics from the link in the description below.
In review, using Microsoft Teams allows Mary to move her team forward as she relies on the easy-to-navigate learning management system and her tech-savvy staff members to implement and model this new platform. Staff members will have many opportunities to utilize the tools within Microsoft Teams that they're familiar with, such as email, video, and chat, while also experiencing authentic opportunities to build on each other's knowledge. Microsoft Teams provides Mary's staff an active role in determining and setting learning goals and strategies for their own professional development. Using each individual's base of knowledge and understanding will allow for a unique and individualized experience through Microsoft Teams. Please take a look at our references for further review. Thank you, and we hope you enjoyed our presentation.